never saw, they hear my name and remember me. I am afraid. Just let the rest
Also, there's a draft now? Then why did Starlight do an audition in season 1 of The Boys? I guess there's more than one way for a soup to accidentally skin an innocent bystander, but this feels like the universe decided people with powers will be treated more like athletes now just because the show is collegiate in nature.
Or there are multiple ways, like you just said? Dude, how are you going to contradict yourself within a matter of seconds? You're like the Daily Wire.
Well, folks, here we are.
Someone give me a cookie.
Okay, let the torture begin. Here we go.
You pass for straight about as much as I pass for a
Oh, no.
19-year-old black lesbian. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's just keep
Explain
going.
it. Explain why
Shut
that
up.
wasn't...
All right.
Oh, this crap. Okay, so first of all, you have less brain cells than your mother.
What?
So it sounds a lot like you are saying that, well, oh, I'm getting tired, guys. How many more of these?
I'm not even sure what he was trying to say there.
Marie can't control her powers and is driven by instinct to turn her blood into a spear and go straight for her mom's jugular. I know backstory's gotta be tragic and all, but this is a bunch of conveniently timed weird bullshit.
In what world is it convenient for someone's powers to accidentally kill their parents? Just asking for a friend.
Gen V thinks it's being cheeky by bringing back a soup porn we already saw back in season 2 of The Boys. But it just has Easter egg on its face because watching porn without headphones is always a sin. It doesn't matter if you're at a Wendy's or the library. People get really upset.
boring.
Most kids around here with a history like yours, they don't get adopted. So they get sent to the Vought Adult Facility in Elmira.
Vought locking people up for no good reason doesn't surprise me, but why would being adopted change Vaught's desire to lock someone up? Doesn't seem like the kind of corporation that believes love conquers all.
If the kids get adopted, then Vought no longer has to use their own resources on them, which cuts down on expenditures. That sounds like an evil company to me.
I'm Maverick, your RA.
Episode does not contain an Iceman.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
I've been dying to meet you.
Not obtaining consent for this hug. Some soups don't like being touched, and others have creepy powers that manipulate you into doing their bidding. Just saying, ask if they're a hugger first.
Yes, you should always ask first, but that's not a mistake of the episode. This is Emma's character, and she's realistically flawed.
It's like society suddenly gave up on tennis, so they turned this court into an overpriced Thunder Beach muscle dome. Also, the speedster can practice wind sprints not on a track. This feels very much like the wrong tool for the job, and I'm worried we won't get an explanation for why God U has spared so much expense with its facilities.
Because it's a college, and that's what colleges do? Spend crazy amounts of money on dumb If anything, this is a commentary on stupid college spending.
I burned my tongue on that.
My inner monologue every time I take
Skip.
Not sweating the Incredible Steve, or anyone that has the in their name.
being willing to sweat someone with Steve in their name. Ha! Take that, the Steve who stole my pudding cup in 3rd grade. I get the last laugh. This is a cool scene and all, but these flames don't appear to be doing anything Fire is famous for doing. Do Golden Boy's punches hurt more because he's hot?
Maybe the other soup is resistant to fire. We don't have enough information to say either way, which means you can't assume that Golden Boy's flames aren't doing anything. And besides, Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliche.
What I mean, it's like a big fiery sea cucumber.
Lusting after any cucumbers that will likely give you a burning sensation.
She was talking about Golden Boy's penis, not yours, Aaron. Golden Boy doesn't have... Oh, you were talking about the animal sea cucumber. Never mind.
Are you Amish? Is Black Amish a thing?
Making a person of color field your ignorant question instead of utilizing the internet, or Godolkin forbid, even the library.
Yeah, I think this sin right here shows just how out of touch the TVSins writers are when it comes to social issues. In my personal experience, which I grant you isn't universal, people of color are totally cool with explaining their cultures to white people because they tend to understand that people are just genuinely curious about things they haven't yet experienced.
So crazy. We didn't film it.
With what cell phone exactly? Does Emma also have the power to completely forget conversations of the previous day?
Emma is a Gen X social media influencer. This line makes total sense.
Little cricket, you are so funny.
Being ashamed when people recognize you for your work. I once got a free bottle.
Skip.
Can't fight bad guys from the size of a pickle, so yeah.
Rick Sanchez just entered the chat and reprogrammed it into a Jason-born AI capable of destabilizing the Canadian government.
Discount Jeremy makes 2 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
You, my boy, are going to the 7. No draft, no nothing.
I know I said the draft earlier for suddenly being a thing, but I didn't expect the show to give up on its own concept halfway through the first episode.
And it didn't give up on it. They're not saying the draft doesn't exist. They're just saying that Golden Boy won't need it. How can someone who watches TV for a living not be able to comprehend simple lines of dialogue?
Play nice, or I will not share my drugs with you.
Dude, if being nice is a requirement to get drugs, most people who use drugs would never have drugs.
Discount Jeremy has never met a stoner.
You feel any different yet?
I don't feel nothing different. I can't believe it. I've been high for 10 minutes and I've got no desire to burn down a school. Do you know how many high school students I have tackled and sat on? Woo! Hey, where would a man buy a hammock at this hour? You want a hammock? I'll get you a hammock. We'll have 2 hammocks. Holy shit. And I got this overwhelming urge to go to an aquarium. They got them sea lions over there swimming around. They look like little water doggies.
Come on, we'll take my car.
Choosing to squeeze 5 people in a Porsche and not a single one of them having known shrinking powers.
Choosing to point things out on the screen and not being remotely entertaining.
Is this just convenient for maximum drama, or is Liam's superpower knowing exactly when somebody is emotionally vulnerable so he can be a real piece of shit?
And how is being taken advantage of in a sexual context convenient? Yeah, when I said you sound like the Daily Wire earlier, I meant that shit.
I can't believe I'm at 7 Tower.
The paper-thin security at this building may be the biggest sin in the boys' verse.
It's almost like the boys' verse is satire.
My brother passed away, too.
I'm sorry. That's why I'm here.
Phrasing your response in a way that inadvertently suggests that his dead brother is why you are here. However, Luke's brother Sam trying to escape is the reason Marie and Andre met, so I guess technically his brother is the reason that she is here and with him at this very moment. But he's not actually dead, so Marie's statement is still incorrect. Thinking you have a kink, when really you're just an asshole who's trying to compensate for more than just not being able to read the room.
How is this a sin of the episode? Look, if you were sinning real life, I'd absolutely remove a sin here. But claiming that the episode made a mistake by having this asshole do what he does seems to suggest that you don't think shows should ever address this type of conflict, which is dumb. This type of stuff, minus the superpowers, happens all the time in real life, and the show is commenting on it. What's the sin here?
I could take my glove off and make you. I won't, because I'm all about consent. But I could.
Says the person who just used their power of persuasion a moment ago to gain entry into this club. I don't think a soup's hypocrisy needs to lack so much subtlety that it feels like we're being manipulated into believing they could say this with a straight face.
Is hypocrisy ever subtle? Yeah, I don't think so. Lex from Survivor All-Stars really needs to educate Discount Jeremy on the art of hypocrisy.
And I think the true measure of a man is what kind of friend he is. What kind of a friend are you, Rob? What kind of a friend were you to me? You asked me to do you a favor, bro to bro, friend to friend, and I did the only thing I could do, and that was to answer the call of a friend in need. You repaid that by putting a knife in my back. But as I see it, as good as your game was, you sold out your values, you sold out your character, and you sold out your friends for a stack of greenbacks.
Won't show it because, well, we can't. But the episode takes Emma and Liam from a gut-wrenching scene concerning self-esteem, body image, and emotional manipulation to one of the more bizarre explorations of Einstein's special theory of relativity, which I'm guessing says something like, the same laws of physics hold true in all inertial reference frames, and the size of your love sausage is the same for all observers, even those moving with respect to one another.
Discount Jeremy starts this sin by explaining the jarring cut between an emotional scene and an essay scene, then dumps a bunch of nonsensical drivel on the audience and calls it a sin. I'm just going to point out that the show cutting between those two scenes was completely purposeful because Emma's sense of self-esteem and body image are both being ruined, which directly ties into the emotional discussion.
Why did you make the little bird sharp enough to slice someone's throat? Surely you had enough finite control over the bird to change how sharp and deadly it is, right?
Aaron, if the episode is showing us that he didn't, then he didn't. Why are you asking such stupid questions?
Can't tell you how sorry I am to tell you this, but you're being expelled.
Why are you telling her this at all? You're just a professor who teaches a class she's currently not even being allowed to take.
That's actually a fair point. Good job.
You saved that woman, but You kind of slit her throat accidentally first, and that's grounds for removal.
The confidence with which he thinks they can cover this up despite all the eyewitnesses and cameras present is pretty wild. And we're just supposed to buy it because of villainy?
No, you're supposed to buy it because of the research on eyewitness testimony. People tend to misremember things all the time, especially things that happened in a setting that was dark and where alcohol was being served. If Godolkin claims it was Marie's fault, then the witnesses will more than likely parrot that sentiment.
You don't understand what Brink did, okay? You don't know about the woods.
And instead of telling her about the woods, suspense will be maintained through the burn first, answer questions later approach.
And again, this isn't a sin of the episode, it's a flaw of the character within the episode. Golden Boy's emotions are clearly going haywire right now, so he's not thinking clearly. That fake-ass laugh.
Wait, is self-destruct a superpower? Because I find it strange that Naked and Ablaze had the ability to do this. His body had to be impervious to flames and heat to completely cover himself and not be burnt, right? So what exactly did he do to ignite this explosion? The only other precedent we have for this kind of thing is the grenade up Translucent's butt, and that just adds an even bigger level of what the f is going on right now.
We don't know exactly how this works, and it also doesn't really matter how. The episode is showing us that Golden Boy could do this, so just accept it. I mean, we're dealing with literal magic here. What's the problem?
I love chocolate, but I can't eat it because then I'll get fat. But it's so good.